The year 2025 has turned into yet another streak of strategic failures for the Russian leadership, and the prospects for the Kremlin are looking increasingly bleak. Throughout the past year, according to investigative journalists, the military forces of the Russian Federation managed to occupy less than 1% of Ukrainian territory. At this current rate, the publication notes, Russia will need at least one additional year just to even approach the borders of Donbas, which the Kremlin calls a primary condition for starting peace negotiations. Furthermore, the lightning-fast detention of Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro and his wife by the military forces of the United States became yet another clear signal of the weakness of Russia's capabilities. Political analyst Abbas Galiamov emphasized that the success of the United States clearly demonstrated what an effective military operation actually looks like, which further demoralizes Russian society and elites. An additional significant blow was the fact that, let's not forget, Maduro was one of the Kremlin's key strategic allies. The situation was further complicated by the seizure of an oil tanker by the United States. The tanker was under the protection of the Russian Navy. As the Wall Street Journal notes, this event became yet another clear indication of Moscow's limited ability to influence global processes. Furthermore, the ongoing war is also hitting the Russian economy harder and harder as time goes on. Military losses in 2025 reached almost 16 trillion rubles. That is 5 times more than in 2021, before the start of the so-called special military operation. Oil and gas revenues in November fell by 34% compared to the previous year, and as of January 1st, VAT has been raised from 20 to 22%, which only increases the financial burden on the population. Levada Center polls indicate a sharp change in sentiment. If at the end of 2024, according to their data, 37% of Russians supported continuing the war, then a year later, only 25% remained. And even that is not necessarily genuine. Meanwhile, the share of those in favor of diplomatic peace negotiations has steadily climbed to a level of almost 70%. High interest rates, which were introduced to curb inflation, have effectively brought investment activity to a complete standstill. Added to this is the growing sense of dissatisfaction among the Russian elites, who find themselves unable to recover their assets currently blocked in European banks. Despite the Kremlin's proven ability to suppress public discontent, as journalists note, Vladimir Putin's domestic political support depends heavily on the loyalty of his closest circle. According to reports from the Wall Street Journal, this support may begin to weaken if the United States increases its military assistance to Ukraine, particularly with more effective means to counter Russian missiles and drones. In that case, as the publication notes those weary of the war, members of the Russian political and economic elite may begin to pressure the Kremlin and Putin, demanding a shift toward genuine and substantive peace negotiations on terms that are, in fact, acceptable to Ukraine. And what do you think about this? Write your thoughts in the comments and we will be happy to read them. That's all for now. Leave a like and write a comment. See you next time.